Hey guys, it's Allie. Welcome to another Thrifty Thursday, where I visit a local thrift store in search of tingly items to share with you. Now, if you've never seen Thrifty Thursday, there are 3 basic rules that I have to follow. Rule number 1, I can't spend over $5. Rule number 2, the item or items that I purchase have to be not only tingle-worthy, but also useful to me in my own life. And rule number 3, each time that I visit the thrift store, I have to bring something of mine to donate. Something that I am not using but might be of benefit to somebody else. So before I get started on that, I want to let you know, some of you might know this video is a reshoot. I shot a full Thrifty Thursday the other day and ended up having to reshoot because there was just way too much background noise from neighbors and workers outside the apartment. Now, that was something that I was able to share with some of you on my Facebook, and so I just want to take a second to encourage you, if you haven't already, to like my page on Facebook so that you can get updates like that, because when delays and stuff happen, I want to be able to share it with all of you, and Facebook is just one really good way to do that. So you'll find the URL to my like page at the end of this video. Cool, so that's all. So on this trip to the thrift store, I took a picture of the things that I donated so that I could show you guys. I donated a set of hair rollers that I had never used, a small baby towel from when my son was really young, a couple of pillowcases, and then a plate box that I was using to hold some puzzle pieces from a jigsaw puzzle that I'd never used. So that's what I donated, and what I found, I'm going to show you close up, but first I found this incense burner that is also a box, and I was really excited to find this because I love incense, and it even has a little trapdoor that houses a little baggie of incense sticks. So I'm going to show this to you close up. And the other thing that I found, I'm so excited. First of all, I got the incense burner for $1.99, and this I found for $2.99. And this is a Piaoyi teapot. It's a little sort of self-brewing teapot, and I'm going to use this to make a cup of loose leaf tea that I have. So I'm really looking forward to sharing this stuff with you guys. So I'm gonna switch shots real quick and show everything to you close up. Okay guys, so here is my little incense burner box thing, and I wanted to show it to you closer up because I really love this box. It's got a lot of really pretty, intricate sort of designs carved into it, and I think it's pretty. You might notice that I have this little spotlight happening, and that's because when I light the incense, which I'm going to do, I want you guys to be able to see the smoke rising. It's gonna look cool, so that's why this is here. So here's my little box, and I'm really looking forward to lighting the incense because I love the smell. It doesn't even really matter what scent it is, to tell you the truth. I just love the smell of incense burning in general because it's sort of a kind of a nostalgic thing for me. As some of you may know, some of you who have seen my, which video was it? it was my belated ASMR Day video where I shared with you guys a sculpture that my mother had done and told you a little bit about my background. And anyway, for those of you who've seen that video, you know that my biological mother passed away when I was a kid, and from that point on, my stepmother was really responsible for doing all the mothering in my life. So anyway, she, and I refer to her as my mom also, she always used to burn incense in a box, actually really similar to this one, in her bedroom anytime she was sewing, or she liked to play computer games. She liked to play Diablo and Myst and games like that. And I just have memories growing up of her sitting in her room reading or playing her games or sewing or whatever it was she was doing, working maybe, and smelling the incense smoke. And so it's a really kind of cozy, nostalgic, comforting smell for me. Because I would just sit in there with her and do whatever, read or draw or just watch her play. I really liked watching her play Myst. It was really kind of relaxing, pretty kind of a game. Anyway, that's one reason that I really love incense. It's just it reminds me of those times. A box like this, you can either burn your incense stick with the box open like this, or you can keep it closed and the smoke will rise through these openings here. And I think at first I'll keep the box open so that you guys can see the stick burning, because it can be kind of mesmerizing to watch. But then once it's time for me to make my tea, I'll close the box and just let the smoke rise. Okay, I'm gonna open the little secret door here. Door. And see, inside is a little baggie of incense sticks. So I'm gonna get that out. I'm gonna try to. Okay, here we go. I like the sound it makes. Just a soft little opening, closing. Okay. little baggie of incense sticks. And they smell. Yeah, this it smells just like the kind my mom was always burning. I think it might be sandalwood. It's kind of a woody sort of earthy smell. It's really nice. It's like musky. I used to burn incense a lot in high school, in my room. Not at my high school, when I was in high school. In my bedroom. And I liked those little black cone ones. I like to set them up. And because you set them up on a surface of some kind and you burn the tip. And I really enjoyed watching those little black ones kind of burn down. You could just sort of sit and become hypnotized by it. I really enjoyed doing that. But there was this one scent. This one, I can't even remember where I got it. It was sticks just like these, and they were blue. And they were rain-scented incense sticks. And I think if I had to choose a favorite of all the aromas, I think that one was my favorite. It just had this wonderful, sort of fresh, kind of sweet, watery scent, but it still smelled a little bit musky, kind of like these. And when it burned, it was just wonderful. And I loved that kind. And I should really go get some. I don't remember where I got it, but I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard to find again. It was really nice. I just thought this bag made some nice little crinkly sounds. I wanted to share it with you before I start burning the incense. Okay, I'm going to take one out. There we go. So as you can see, possibly, I'm not sure if you can see, the stick is changes shapes. It's got a very thin end from about here to the end, and this is where you this is the part of the incense that you place in the holder, and the rest of it is what burns. And, I'm actually not sure what this is covered in, but it's kind of powdery, and well, it's scented obviously, and it burns down, and it becomes just a long ash. And I really like watching the incense stick sort of burn down and become this long sort of ash tail. Sometimes it curls up, curls under. It looks really neat. So what you do is open up the box. And right in here, right in this inner edge, there's a little hole cut into the wood. And you place the end of the stick through the hole, and it sort of props it up inside the box. So that's what I'm going to do. But I have to find the hole first. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'll show you. Okay, see how it came out the other end there? And now it's propped up. I'm going to set it back down. And then you light the tip, and little flame will be at the end, and then you just blow it out. And the tip will stay kind of lit and red and glowing, and that's how it burns down. And that's where the smoke comes from. So I'm gonna get my lighter and light the tip. If I can find my lighter. Here it is. Before I do this, I want to let you know this sound is going to be a little loud, so I think I'll probably just edit out the sound of the lighter clicking, just because it's kind of abrasive. Here we go. Okay. So now we've got a nice little flame. And I'm going to let it burn for a minute and then blow it out. There we go. And there's the smoke. You can see that the tip is glowing because it's still lit. And that's just going to keep burning until it gets down to the very end. And if you watch it, you'll see the little ash start to form. There we go. Incense is an interesting thing. A lot of different cultures use it. It's not really known when it started, but the very earliest recorded uses of incense in kind of like rituals, like religious ceremonies and spiritual rituals, things like that, was in, I believe, China in around 2000 BC. So, although cultures before that very well could have been burning incense. I know that the word incense comes from the Latin word, I believe it's incender. Well, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but no one really knows how to pronounce Latin words. Can you see that little ash forming there on the end? I like that. Oh, and that word, incender or incendier, in Latin it means to burn. That's where incense comes from. Makes sense. And I know that some maybe not all, but some Native American cultures do something similar, but it's what's called smudging, I believe, and that's kind of like burning incense. It's where they burn a bundle, like a little bunch of certain types of herbs. And they do that in order to purify a place or bless a place or a person. It can be used for a person as well. So I think there are some tribes that do that and some that don't. But that's also something that has been adopted by kind of the new agey folks. It's a pretty common practice. Burning the incense I'm talking about, it kind of reminds me of this thing I learned about recently. It's kind of related, I guess. But I learned about this weird substance that's called it's called ambergris or ambergris. Really fascinating. Basically, what it is this very, very rare, expensive substance. It's very expensive. The best kind goes for like around $10,000 per pound. So very, very expensive and very highly sought after. But what it is it's this substance, I guess, that comes from sperm whales. And what it is okay, well, sperm whales primarily eat squid and things like cuttlefish. And squid have little beaks on them, and cuttlefish have something, I'm not sure. But anyway, the beaks of the squid that the sperm whale is eating are indigestible. The sperm whale can't digest certain parts of the creatures that he eats. So in order to kind of protect himself from those parts, his stomach or his intestines, I'm not sure, produce this kind of fatty substance that acts as a coating over those parts that he can't digest. And it's really, really gross. I won't be too graphic about it, but anyway, he has these just masses of stuff in his stomach coated in this substance, and it's just in his stomach until it isn't. I won't be explicit, but anyway, yeah, he that leaves his body eventually and kind of just rolls around in the ocean. And what's interesting about it, and the reason I'm telling you, the reason that it relates to this, is that when it's inside of the whale, if you were to smell it, it would smell really, really foul and awful. And it would look kind of like black and kind of like tar, I think. And it just has a really awful smell, but once it leaves the whale and it's just been kind of rolling around in the ocean and then becomes oxidized, it actually produces this really wonderful aroma that is really, really highly valued, especially among perfume makers. And it's so interesting. And the reason I'm even thought about this is because it's not really, I don't think it's really highly used in incense anymore, but it used to be in earlier cultures. It was burned as a perfumed incense because the smell is apparently so fragrant and wonderful. And it's interesting. I don't know if I've ever smelled it myself because I don't use or buy luxury perfumes, really. But it is used in a lot of very expensive luxury perfumes. But anyway, it's said to have sort of a sweet, musky, kind of tobacco-y, woody smell that is just incredible. So if you have used or own Chanel No. 5, I believe that contains ambergris. So now you know. Interestingly, though, it is illegal to have it in the United States because the sperm whale is an endangered species. And I don't fully understand that. To tell you the truth, I would have to read more about it. Or maybe one of you can explain it to me. But I don't really understand if it's something that the whale has excreted. Then I'm not sure what the problem would be if you were collecting it, because the whale obviously isn't using it anymore. But anyway, that might just be really ignorant of me. Ignorant way of thinking about it, because maybe the law is in place to prevent people from poaching whales for this substance or something. I don't know. But anyway, if you happen to find some on the beach here in the US, then I advise you not to keep it because you could get in a lot of trouble. Apparently. So yeah, it's a little rambling, interesting, weird fact for the day. Anyway, yeah, doing burning the incense kind of made me think about it. Okay, well, I think I'm going to let this burn down while I go get my water boiling for my everything set up and then show you guys how my neat little new teapot works. Okay. So I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back with all of my tea making accoutrement. And here is my, how do I say it? Piao-yi, that's right. My Piao-yi teapot. So I'm going to demonstrate this for you. Make a little cup of tea. So I first want to read the instructions that came with. Real quick. This product is made in Taiwan. Okay. It says, put tea leaves, tea bags, or coffee grounds into the inner pot. That is this part. No filter paper is required when making coffee. Add boiling water and cover. I've got some very hot water that was boiling. Maybe you can see the steam coming off of it. Yeah, it was boiling a minute ago, so it counts. Remove the inner pot and press the button on the cover to let tea be filtered and flow out. Use the outer pot as a serving pot. That's this one. Use the inner pot to continuously brew tea or coffee. I'll show you what that means in a minute. It says the outer pot can serve as a drinking cup. I'm not actually going to use the outer pot as a drinking cup. I think I'll just go get myself an actual cup. So, I've got some tea here, some loose leaf tea. I'm going to be brewing with my Piao-yi teapot. Well, I'm not going to use a teaspoon, but I am going to use a tiny scoop. It's back for another Thrifty Thursday. I think this must be my most used Thrifty Thursday item to date. So I'm going to use this to scoop out some tea into the cup. Okay, so I'm going to take this lid off. Set it here. So how this is going to work is in here there's a little mesh sort of strainer, and in the bottom, if you can see that really well, there's a little silver ball that when you push the button is raised, and when you push the button it allows all the water to be drained out into your pot, but the tea leaves remain in the cup. I'll show you. So I want to open up my bag and start scooping my tea. So if you can see in here, you can see all the little flowers and leaves and stuff. Oh, it smells really good. It smells kind of like honey. I don't know if you can see that. Try to get it onto the light. scoop of my tea flowers and drop it in. And get another scoop and drop it in. Another scoop and drop it in. I think one more will do it. And maybe one more. Okay. Put a tiny scoop over here. Now what I want to do is probably just put this back in here. And I'm going to pour the hot water over the tea. And fill it all the way up. There we go. Get it all in there real good. Okay. So, what I like to do is let my tea steep. You can see that. I like to let it steep for about 5 minutes, at least 5, just to get some good flavor. I'm going to take this out and set it here in the lid because it's a little drippy and I don't want water dripping into here so much. So I'm going to let this steep for about 5 minutes or so. And while I'm waiting, I'm going to go find myself a little teacup. And then we can try it out. So, yeah, I'm going to give this about 5 minutes and then I'll be right back. Okay, guys. So my tea has been steeping here for several minutes. I think it's just about ready to try it out. So what I'm going to do is press down on this little button here on the side, and that's going to release the water into the pot. Well, the tea. It's tea now, not water. I want to make sure you can see this. There we go. That's pretty cool. Okay, so here's my first little cup of tea. And what I'm going to do is, I've got a little bit more hot water here. I'm going to pour that over this tea and just go ahead and steep another cup. And set this aside. I brought my current favorite teacup. I like to have green tea in the morning sometimes with lemon, and I like having it in this kind of cup. And I got this, amazingly enough, at a thrift store. I thrift shop a lot, and you guys, if there's any takeaway that I want you to get from this Thrifty Thursday series, is that thrift shopping is a wonderful way to get the things that you need and sometimes the things you want without having to pay retail price for them. As you guys have seen over the past like 12 weeks now, I've found some really cool stuff for crazy cheap. And I think thrift stores are just so great for so many people, especially if you're first starting out. Maybe you've just moved out for the first time. You've got your own place and you need things. You need dishes or curtains or rugs or what have you. Or maybe you are just down on your luck financially right now. A lot of people are, in this country at least, with the way the economy is right now. So thrift stores are really excellent resources for lots of people. So anyway, no more soapbox for me. It's something that I feel strongly about, and I hope that this series, I guess, has shown you all the great things that you can find if you just look. So here's my first cup of tea. I'm really glad that I found this because the fall and winter months are coming and it's going to start getting colder. And I really, really love to have hot tea in the colder months. Now this is a chamomile tea and it's caffeine free. This is a tea that's really good for winding down at the end of the day, especially before bed. It has sort of natural calming properties. So this is a very good bedtime or relaxing time tea to drink. I recommend it. I sometimes like to sweeten mine, but if you're going to sweeten your chamomile tea, I recommend using a very light hand because it has a really delicate flavor already. It's not a strong tea, so you don't want to overpower the light chamomile flavor with too much sweetener. I recommend just a little bit of honey, maybe a teaspoon max. Okay, I want to do my second cup now. So I'm just going to place this in here, right over the pot, and press the button. And it just releases the tea. And I can pour this into my cup again. So yeah, this is something I'm looking forward to getting a lot of use out of. Well guys, I very much hope that you've enjoyed this week's Thrifty Thursday. I hope that you found it relaxing and interesting and possibly even motivating. Maybe you feel motivated to visit a thrift store. I hope that you sleep well and have lovely dreams. And I will be seeing you guys again very soon. Good night.
Hi, I'm Bob Ross. I want to thank you for bringing me into your homes once again, and welcome you to this week's Time Travel Tuesday. Coming in at number 5 in the votes for this week's topic were those happy little Polly Pockets. Number 4, the TV show Full House. And number 3, Dragon Ball Z, that crazy little Goku.